Mob Psycho 100, Episode 7, Exaltation. I've obtained loss. Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Famincho here, back at it once again with another Mob Psycho 100 review, talking about Episode 7, Exaltation, and I'm gonna be honest, this is probably my least favorite episode yet. I really didn't like what they were doing with the character of Ritsu, which really saddens me because in the previous episodes, that's some of my favorite parts about the episode was that relationship between Ritsu and his brother Shigeo, and that dynamic, so refreshing, so interesting, and they kind of just crap all over that in this episode to make him a really boring, kind of tropey jerk character that you'd expect from a series like this. And that really saddens me because, again, Ritsu was a really cool character. I get it, this episode was a lot of exposition and a lot of depth in the character of Ritsu, but I just didn't care enough about that depth to really enjoy this episode. Plus, I also believe that they didn't balance out the humor enough in this episode. I think that if you have an episode of this type, have this episode with a lot of exposition and a lot of depth in a character just being a jerk and kind of not depressing, but just kind of a darker episode that just really doesn't have much life to it, you need to balance that out with humor. You need to have humor in all these scenes and make it work, you know, as a cohesive story point that goes forward. But I just didn't see that in this episode. There was a couple funny scenes. One of them actually being my favorite when Shigeo got dragged into that art exhibit and that lady knocked down that vase, claiming that Shigeo was responsible for some reason, and he owes her money now. And then he calls up Reagan. Reagan comes by, claims that he was possessed by a spirit, and then creeps out all these people, basically roast all of them actually. And then they go to this restaurant, they're sitting down, and he's like, oh, like, thanks for shaking all those pictures and knocking them down, but he actually didn't. That was really interesting. I'm curious what's going on there. Maybe Reagan is possessed by a spirit. Kind of an interesting way to introduce that kind of story element, but who knows? I have no clue. It was a funny scene, but again, it just, I don't know, it didn't really work in this episode. I hope that they end up capitalizing on that later on in the next episode to see kind of what's going on there and why this scene was even here, but it just kind of happens. It's funny, but it just kind of happens, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like it could have been inserted into this episode a little bit more skillfully. Like, it just kind of didn't have a place, and that was kind of just meh, to be honest. And again, just not enough humor in this episode. We see Shinji again in this episode. He's still doing the same thing. He's still being a jerk, trying to get these delinquents out of school, and Ritsu's still helping them. Ritsu now has psychic abilities. He can now see Dimple, and Dimple wants to be his partner. Dimple wants him to be strong, and Dimple is not strong enough to possess his body yet, so I think he's just kind of waiting things out, sitting on the sideline and seeing when he's able to do that. But he does enter his body and kind of unlocks his potential on using his psychic abilities, and oh boy, he uses his psychic abilities in this episode. He just takes out thug after thug. So all these rival schools, like the Mayo school and the Miso school, are all like really angry that Teru was taken out by white tea poison. I think that's the nickname they're dubbing Shigeo now. And they all think that Ritsu is white tea poison. So they're all coming after him, and he's just taking them out with ease. No problem whatsoever. It's actually kind of interesting. I like how, I don't know, I don't like that Ritsu's a jerk now, but it's just weird how it happens so fast, and it's weird how powerful he is now, and how, like, he's kind of just, he's realizing his potential through all this kind of mess that's happening, and that's really cool, actually. I do like that aspect. Again, we see Shinji, he's, like, just ashamed of himself now, apparently. Like, all those delinquents kind of, like, talk to him, and I think they beat the crap out of him, actually, and he's, like, crying, and he's in his room, and you see Ritsu there. They still don't really explain what all that trash is in his room. I believe Ritsu makes a comment about it. He's like, what is all this trash in here? But it doesn't really explain what's going on there. I have no clue. But yeah, I think that we're done with Shinji now. Thankfully, I just really hated him as a character. They really didn't capitalize on him at all. Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the episode, we see him in an alleyway. We see all the thugs coming at him from all the different schools, claiming that he is still white tea poison. And then we see the man in the purple hoodie that we saw in the previous episode appear, and he's like just watching him. But I think I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he has psychic abilities. I think we're gonna kind of enter an arc in the next episode. In the preview for next episode, at the end of this one, they kind of showed off a lot of interesting characters. It looks like we're going to be entering a big story arc, probably the final arc into the series. At least I think so. We're at episode 7. I don't know how long the run is yet. I think it's 13 or 12 episodes. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think we might be entering a big arc soon. At the end of the episode, we see Shigeo walk into the alleyway in which Ritsu is, in which he beat up all these other thugs, and he sees them. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next episode and how Shigeo takes what's been going on with his brother Ritsu and how he's been kind of abusing his psychic abilities, because we have to remember, Mob Shigeo really doesn't like using his abilities on other people. He doesn't like hurting people, and seeing his brother doing so is going to be... It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to fight him. I have no clue. I think that would be really cool. Hopefully they can kind of course correct what's been happening in this episode and really capitalize on that relationship between Ritsu and Shigeo once again. And I praised it in previous episodes, so I'm really hoping for that. I'm actually crossing my fingers for that. So we'll see what happens. I think that's pretty much it. Some great animation this episode. When Teru and Ritsu shake hands, the animation just like kicks it into the high gear, and you see the viewpoint like moving around the city place. There's like these schoolgirls standing there, like winds blowing by, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Some of the best I've seen in the series, actually. It just looks great. But yeah, I think that's just about it. It's not a terrible episode. I get it. You need these types of episodes to kind of carry the series forward, but it just... I feel like it could have been handled just a little bit better with a little bit more humor and just, I don't know, like just handled it just a bit more better with a little more heart, like a little more soul and a little more life into the episode. I wish we saw Mob just a little bit more, and I kind of wish they teased us so much in that last episode, showing this dude in the purple hoodie, and they only show him for a second at the very end, so it's just like, you kind of just like left me hanging there. So yeah, I think out of a score 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Not terrible, but not fantastic, which is pretty sad because I've actually given all of the previous episodes 8s and 9s out of 10s because they're all fantastic, and this one just really takes a dip down. Again, not terrible, but just compared to the previous episodes, it's terrible. Like, the previous episodes were just so fantastic. So hopefully this is the only bad episode in the series, and hopefully the next episode will again capitalize on that relationship between Ritsu and Shigeo, that relationship that I love so much and I think is one of the best parts about the series. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Comment below, give me your thoughts on episode 7 of Mob Psycho 100. What do you think of this weird power that Ritsu's playing with here? He doesn't really know what's going on. What do you think Mob is going to do when he meets up with him in that alleyway? And did you like this episode as much as me? Meh. Comment below, give me your thoughts. Hit that like button if you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today. I really appreciate it, and it lets me know that I can continue doing these reviews. And also, please be sure to subscribe for every single week Mob Psycho reviews. I try to get them up as early as possible. Lately, work has been bringing me down, but I think I got kind of in a groove here. So yeah, hit that subscribe button for my weekly Mob Psycho 100 reviews. And also I do anime related videos, gaming related videos, and everything in between. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at FuminShow1 for updates on this channel and everything I mentioned earlier. And I think that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. And also, something I forgot to point out. Thank you very much for subscribing. I just recently hit over 130 subscribers, and my God, guys, come on. You're killing me here. You're making me so happy with all these subs. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, especially the ones that are watching and returning for these Mob Psycho 100 reviews. It lets me know that I can keep doing these reviews, especially the guys that comment down below. Just thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Sorry I forgot to mention it in this video. Thank you guys so much. And now I think that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.